stop trying to learn more than one programming language, one framework, things like that. Like, just focus on one language and one core technology stack that you are really, really good at and build everything in that stack. That is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from having run a software agency over the past 3 years. So I run software consultancy. We build a lot of stuff for other clients, other companies. And before that, I tried to build my own tech products and things like that. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned is things are consistently worse when I try to take up tech stacks where I am not the best. And what I mean by that is, like, when I started, I would take on, anything that had remotely to do with programming. Like, as a company, I'd be like, yeah, we do it. And so, for example, my bread and butter is JavaScript, TypeScript. And so, the name of this video is only learn one programming language. I could just do TypeScript and I could do Angular, Vue, and React, right? But even out of those three, now I only do React. So we generally turn away projects that do Angular or Vue, or we can offer to hire somebody. So we'll hire somebody who knows that framework, but we won't do it ourselves. And the reason is, it is so much harder to produce really, really amazing results if it is not your absolute bread and butter. And it is easier to focus on one thing. And I know that when I started programming and things like that, I wanted to learn all kinds of languages and all kinds of frameworks, and I wanted to know them all. And over time, I have realized, pick a couple frameworks in one language, or if you absolutely need to, maybe two. I should caveat this by saying, I think it's really good exposure. If your ambition is just to learn and to deeply understand computer science and things like that, if your aim is core understanding, then I think learning different languages can be really useful to expose yourself to different ideas. But if your aim is to build really, really good stuff, don't try and build in different languages. Because if you build one backend in Go and then the next one in Node and the next one in Python, the lessons that you learned from the first one are not 100% transferable to the next one. And the higher that transfer rate, right? The higher the transfer of learnings from one project to the next, the better you can make your projects over time. And those learnings compound, right? Because let's say I build a backend in Go. And, 50% of the lessons I've learned there are generally applicable to all backends, so I can take that to the next project. But 50% are specific to how that backend was structured in Go for whatever reason. If I then build something in Python, I can only take 50% of those lessons. And then I do something in Node, and then I can only take 50% of those lessons again. And so now you've kind of you've been cutting down, you've been losing 50% every single time. And if you just stick to the same thing, it seems more boring. I get that part. I completely get that, because I have this kind of founder ADHD where I want to build 100 different things and I want to try all the things and I want to say that I do it all because it's all fascinating to me. I'm incredibly curious. And so doing a lot of different things satiates that curiosity, but it does not help you build better things. It's a tightrope to walk, because I also do believe in trying different things. I think exposure to a lot of things can help you build. But when it comes to, if you are just programming, learning software, and you want to build better and better stuff, stick to one language. And this doesn't have to be there's no better framework. Wow. You could argue there's better frameworks, right? So I will generally argue in favor of React versus Angular and Vue. I just prefer it for all kinds of reasons. But this is not that video. That is another video, I should say. This video is not about that specifically. This is about just in general, focus on something, pick that and stick with it. If you want to build smart contracts, just do smart contracts, just do Solidity. And just get really, really good at that one thing. And it doesn't feel like it at first, but people will come to pay you really well because you know Solidity better than anybody else. Or, if you want to get into Rust, then go and learn Rust and become an expert in the nuances of the language. And I think that is one of the most beneficial things. That is what makes you a senior developer. A senior developer is not somebody who knows a language at an intermediate level, but knows 5 languages. I know a bit of JavaScript, a bit of Python, a bit of C, a bit of Java, and I mix it all together and I'm senior. No, you're not a senior developer. You become a senior developer when you can tell the slightest nuances in a language. One of the good examples of this is in JavaScript. Null and undefined are different. And there is a very nuanced difference to those two. And somebody who is able to explain to me that difference very well and very coherently has demonstrated to me that they are a very capable developer in that domain. And so I will 100% take that developer over any other multidisciplinary developer when I want them to work on a React or Node project or something like that, because they understand JavaScript. They really, really understand JavaScript. And I think building that expertise is very useful if you want to build really good software. Just, stick to one thing. And I think that's one of the big lessons that I've learned across the board is the stream of focus is very beneficial to get really good at things. And you can counterbalance this because there is a space for exploration as well. There is also time and place where you want to learn as many different things as possible because they all meddle with your brain in a different way. But when your goal is to build good things, when your goal is to like become that senior developer, just focus on one programming language. You don't need 100. Yeah. And I mean, this video isn't even like totally business related or things like that, which is what a lot of my channel is about, because that's just stuff I like to speak on. But for those who kind of want to build stuff, like you don't need that much. You really don't. Like, I get it. If you want to build a full stack app by yourself, are you going to have to learn more than one framework? Yeah, sure. Right. Like you're going to need something for the back end. You're going to need something for the front end. And so like learn and do that. But if you want to become really, really good at something, and especially if you want other people to pay you very well for it, specialize in a thing. Yeah. That's my 2 cents. Like you do have to walk a little bit of this tightrope, but don't fall for the false assumption, which is that doing everything under the sun is going to help you. Like if you are trying to set up some kind of consultancy or something, some kind of agency, and you say, oh yeah, I'll do anything. I mean, Ruby, Python, like you want me to write in PHP, I'll write in PHP. Like if you are like that, you lose the edge of the specialist. And as long as you are small, you have the edge of being boutique and being specialist. That is your edge. If you do everything, like they might as well go with a big company that's already there. That, like they've been doing this for a long time. Big companies have hundreds of specialties because they've been doing it and they've built up specialties over time. Today, we offer more services than I would have been able to initially. And that's because I have more people in my team who have different specialties. And so you hire those people over time. But if you were just doing things yourself, you don't need to have 100 different specialties. You just need to get people to pay you for one. And you can get a really, really, really long way with that. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. And I think it's a valuable reflection to have if you're somebody who wants to get into software, wants to get into making money in tech in general. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions or comments, ideas for other videos. I look at those in the comments. And if you'd like to support, do subscribe, because apparently 84% of people are not subscribed, who watch these videos. So